We are now going to proceed without further hesitation to bring to you the gospel which I have been mandated by heaven to preach to the children of men. First of all, this evening, morning, or night, depending on where you are, I want to congratulate Twitter for standing up to the Fulani bullies. They are bullies, that is who they are. They came into Gobe, which is today's Sokoto. They bullied the Hausa people. In fact, they convinced Hausa people to fight themselves. At the end of the day, they became the beneficiaries. The Hausa kingdom of Gobe became Fulani Emirate, called Sokoto. Facebook, I must say, capitulated. Facebook came to Nigeria, made their headquarters in Africa, if I'm not mistaken, or is it West Africa, in Nigeria, and proceeded to receive huge sums of money. The entire staff of Facebook in Nigeria are under the payroll of the Ministry of Information and Culture. They are all compromised. Facebook capitulated because of money and threat from the dead dictator that the Fulani cabal are now ruling in his name. Therefore, I say to Almighty God, thank you very much that Twitter chose Ghana instead of Nigeria, because sometimes I imagine what would have become of Twitter had they made their headquarters in Nigeria. By now, I am sure Lai Mohammed, the entire Fulani Caliphate, awash with vast sums of money, would have bribed the entire staff of Twitter as they did to Facebook. And their mission, rather than being one where thoughts and ideas are shared over the social media, they would have gone straight on into censorship and restriction, the same thing that Facebook is now doing today in Nigeria. Because Facebook's mission today is to stop free speech and every article that is critical of the government of Nigeria. That is why, or that was why I tried to argue yesterday with some of my people that the Attorney General of the Federation of Nigeria, Malami, ordering the prosecution of offenders is not only laughable, but it is the height of unforgivable idiocy. Before we came on air, my good friend Fani Kayode and a few other people like Obieze Kwesili and ex-governor of Ekiti, Fayoshe, they tweeted and damned the consequences because Twitter ban in Nigeria cannot be effective because it is not backed up by the full weight of the law. It is an executive pronouncement. It does not have the backing of the law. This evening, Nigerians must understand that they do not understand the law. But here we are going to teach you how to understand it. Malami said he was going to prosecute offenders. In other words, if you tweet, you'll be prosecuted. But all the Buhari support group, all the Janjaweed spokespeople, they are still on Twitter tweeting. That is the double standards of the Fulani. When we say that, Lai Mohammed will say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu he's spewing hate speech. It is not hate speech. All I'm trying to do is to highlight the double standards of the ruling Fulani Caliphate. Because Fulani Caliphate are the people, they are the people ruling Nigeria. There is no Buhari, that is the fact of life. You can deceive yourselves all you like from now till the kingdom come. The truth of the matter is that Buhari is dead, buried in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia. That is the truth of the matter. Sue me anywhere if you like, but of course not in the zoo court, because anyway, they're on strike. I want to ask Malami, under which law of the Federation of Nigeria are you banning Twitter? Under which law? Are you now saying that executive pronouncement by whoever is the head of state or the president of the zoo becomes law? Is that what you're trying to imply? If that is the case, then that means you don't understand what Montesquieu went through in order to put to paper his treatise on separation of powers. It means you did not go to school. You're not an AGF. It means, of course, you're a quota lawyer. So you know nothing. Under which law I asked the Fulani Janjaweed, including those in Asorok, because I know Buhari is not there, so maybe I will address Garba Shehu, Femi Adesina, maybe El Rufai, running the show from Kaduna, and of course, Malami. And what's his name again? Their so-called secretary to the government, or chief of staff. What's his name again? The man from Kwara State. I don't know his name. I want to ask these people, Nigeria has 3 ways of making laws. The one in the Constitution of Nigeria, the one that they make at the National Assembly, and any judicial pronouncement in a court of law. These are the only 3 means by which any law can come into existence under the current jaundiced democratic rule that you have in Nigeria. So I'm asking them, where is it in your 1999 Constitution or any statute of state that using Twitter is a crime? I want somebody to please try and tutor that very Janjaweed, the Attorney General of the Federation of the Zoological Republic, called Malami, that an executive directive is not a law binding on the people. That is something some of you don't understand. When they say, come and register for NIN, all of you run and register for NIN, go and do BVN, do BVN. It is not backed up by the weight of the law. Therefore, it is not binding on everybody. I give you a very simple example. Remember most of the laws that most of the executive decisions that were taken by Donald Trump, how quickly they were reversed. And in most cases, some courts said they would not even uphold it. It was turned down. It is not binding on the people. It is an executive decision. It is not a law. You can't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I am banning Twitter because of that. Nobody should use Twitter. Are you mad? Who are you? If Nigeria does not want Twitter in their territory, all they need to do is to go to the National Assembly and pass a law or a bill saying we no longer require the presence of Twitter in our land. That now becomes law, punishable by whatever thing that the law courts may deem fit. Only then will the use of Twitter be prosecutable. You cannot prosecute somebody based on executive fiat. It is not done anywhere in the world. But because they are bullies, they do not understand the niceties of the law. Therefore, any instruction by those claiming they are Buhari or the Attorney General of a Buhari to arrest and to prosecute Nigerians still using Twitter is null and void, because there is no law criminalizing the use of Twitter. And nobody, no president in a democracy has the prerogative to make laws by virtue of his or her pronouncements. It is not done anywhere in the world. That is why you have a democracy. But of course, some of you in the cow republic, you don't understand what we're talking about. Some of you are not learned enough to appreciate what we are discussing this evening or this very gospel that I'm bringing to you, but that is a fact. You can be a president. You can issue directives, but you do not make the law. That is why you have the National Assembly. That is their job. Once they make a law, that law now becomes binding on everybody. That is how civilized people behave. You cannot ban anybody. There is no law in the zoo criminalizing the use of Twitter. And whoever claims that he is Buhari cannot make any laws. He is an executive or the head of the executive branch. Their job is to implement and execute the laws. The duty of the court is to interpret the law. I don't even know if these elementary government is, if people are actually aware of it. in Nigeria. I'm not even sure that people are aware of this very simple fact. The policy of this administration in the zoo to suspend Twitter's operations in Nigeria is not law. It is a policy. The Constitution, the flawed Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria guarantees all Nigerians the right to free speech and freedom of association, freedom of expression. That is what I'm doing tonight, speaking my mind. You may disagree with it. Of course, the Janjaweed will, but the majority have over the years accepted it to be gospel and a fact. That is my opinion, and I am entitled to it. Something that the Fulani Janjaweed do not understand. When I speak, they say it is hate speech. It is not hate speech. I am stating the obvious, and I'm stating all these facts. I will buttress some of them with evidence as we progress this very evening. Therefore, everybody, if you are in Nigeria, please ignore the stupid threat that you will be prosecuted if you go on Twitter. And all of them, they're on Twitter. They are on Twitter. All of them, they're on Twitter. They're still tweeting. When they call me all manner of names, when they were calling IPOB miscreants, they called us every vile name under the sun. Nobody complained of hate speech. When that fool on bleaching cream with 2 dots on his forehead were writing nonsense and calling me names, nobody pulled his tweets down. Nobody complained. Not at all. I don't complain because I take as much as I give, so I don't complain. People are entitled to the opinion, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me all the time. It is impossible. These people, because we stood up to them, because IPOB said enough is enough, because we formed Eastern Security Network to safeguard our land, our forest and our bush and our farmlands for our people to go and farm, because we said to Fulani, you cannot conquer this land of the ancients. That is the only crime we committed. That is the only crime we committed. They went overboard. We are going to speak in the language you will understand. But Boko Haram, ISIS in West Africa, Ansaru, Miet Yala, Fulani foreign bandits, Fulani local bandits, Fulani terrorists in general, Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. These are all terror franchise run by Fulani people in Nigeria. That is a fact. It is not hate speech. It is a fact. These people in Asorok never spoke the language that Boko Haram understood. They never spoke the language that Fulani headsmen, the same people. What I find astonishing is that these people, they will ignore the timber, the tree in their own eyes, and they'll be looking for a tiny speck of dust in your own. I want to ask Fulani Janjaweed, have you dealt with Boko Haram in their own language? Did you go to the north massacring people, abducting people, killing them, basically committing genocide in broad daylight as you're doing right now in the east? The answer is no. Throughout the years of Fulani rampage through the Middle Belt, have you ever read the riot acts to them? The answer is no. But the whole world, what I find astonishing is the hypocrisy of man. BBC, Twitter, Facebook, all the rest of them, New York Post, everybody, Sky News. All of you are witnesses to this march of the Janjaweed across from the Sahel into the Middle Belt part of Nigeria, killing, slaughtering, and maiming people. All of you are aware. Nobody will ever say to Garba Shehu, why did you not read riot acts to Boko Haram, to Fulani, your fellow Miet Yala, that you gave 100 billion to? Why didn't you read it to them? He read a riot act to IPOB. He read, can't you, the president has spoken. And when I say it, sometimes people take offense, but it is a fact of life that there is something fundamentally wrong with us. I've said this many times because I know that the owners of Twitter, they are listening to my broadcast this evening via that very platform. I want them to understand that I am also self-critical. We are our own worst enemies because of the way we reason, because of the way we think. And that is why black people are at the bottom of the pile all over the world, wherever you go to, because of how we reason. The same person trying to address the issue of insecurity in the East in the language they will understand failed to address his own people in the language they themselves will understand. Now, I believe that you're following what I'm saying. I want also, Twitter, are you listening to me? Because they want to listen. Lai Mohammed told them, go and listen to him. You hear his hate-filled speech tonight, and you ban him on Twitter as they bribed Facebook to try and suppress my page. And Twitter, you're listening. My happiness is that Twitter is owned by a white man. And white people are more objective when it comes to issues of this very nature. I don't want to go into the background of Mark Zuckerberg. That will take care of itself in time to come. But I'm sure that the owner of Twitter is a white man. So he is bound to be objective, at least. I want to also let the whole world understand what is happening in the north, in Fulani-controlled northern parts of Nigeria. They call them the Arewa, the Janjaweed frontier of the north. What is happening? Do you know that Islamic leaders who are Fulani people are abducting Hausa people who are Christians and forcibly converting them to Islam and forcibly marrying them off to whoever that wants to take a Hausa Christian bride? Are you aware of that? No, you're not aware of it. Because some of you erroneously think that in the north, they're all Muslims. Is that what you're thinking? No, you're wrong. Islam is in the minority in the north. You'll be shocked to know this. Now, let me explain something to you. And I must thank Inter-Society for bringing this to the attention of the world. Because they actually called for the prosecution of some Islamic leaders in Katsina State. The same state that they claim the dead Buhari, whoever is there, comes from. Answering Buhari, of course, the late Buhari comes from Katsina. Do you know what they're doing in Katsina State? Fulani Caliphate Islamic people there are kidnapping people, young women, most of them Hausa Christians, and forcibly converting them to Islam. It may sound far-fetched, but it is true. And I'm going to shock most of you this evening. There is a group in the north. They are called the Hausa Christian Foundation, HACFO, HACFO for short. The Hausa Christian Foundation reported incidences of indiscriminate abduction of underage girls by Islamic leaders in Katsina State and forcing them to renounce their Christian faith to take up Islam. What they did to Leah Shoaib. To tell you that they are all in it together. This is what I want Yoruba media to understand. I know that some of them are Muslims. I understand that very well. But at least they are educated. They went to school. They are not quota products as you have in the north. Not at all. You have in the Janjaweed north, that is. Do you know what the group said? Hausa Christians, what they said. The Nigerian government must sanction the Katsina Islamic leaders for indiscriminate abduction and forceful conversion of scores of Hausa Christians, especially girls of underage, to Islam. This is according to a statement issued on the 15th of April 2021 by the Hausa Christians Foundation. According to the group, there has been indiscriminate abduction of hundreds of Hausa girls and their forcible conversion to Islam. The abducted Hausa Christian girls who are under the school age of 16 are also forced into early marriage, done outside the consent of their parents. This is happening in a place called Nigeria. These are the people that want to ban Twitter. These are the people that bought over Facebook. The same people that bought over Satlink in Israel because they were carrying our signal. These people. I'm asking all of you Nigerians, for goodness sake, when will you begin to reason and to learn? They claim, are we not upholding the rule of law? So the rule of law in the north stipulates that you must abduct a little girl and forcibly convert her to Islam. This is happening. It is a report. Let me also ask those in Asorok, have you spoken to people of Katsina abducting little children about the need to understand a particular language that you're about to speak to them? Have you done that? I want the world to understand how despicable, vile, and evil Nigeria is. That's what I'm trying to do. To let you understand what is happening in Nigeria as at this very present day. People must understand the game plan of the Fulani, and I want Twitter to understand it. They will come with harassment. They will try to buy shares in Twitter. They will try to impose their own people as directors of the board of Twitter. They will try to get you to change your policies towards Nigeria. Because the Fulanis have a long-term goal. They know what they're looking for. They want the total Fulanization and Islamization of the geopolitical space called Nigeria. That's what they want. And they will never stop until they get it. They will never ever stop. This is something that I want Yoruba people to understand. This is something I want Middle Belt on. In Middle Belt, you will be taken. You'll be swallowed alive. I'm telling you, you will be taken. The only reason why this demonic Fulanization is not in full swing is because of the activities of IPOB and Eastern Security Network. And I also want to remind Twitter, because they're listening. Twitter, please. Do you know that in the Nigerian army and police there are terrorists there? Are you aware that Nigeria actively recruited terrorists, killers and murderers and rapists, and gave them army and police uniforms? Are you aware of that? How can anybody, Yoruba journalists, how can you people in your infantile stupidity refer to Nigeria as having an army or Nigeria police? Or where are those terrorists that they conscripted into the Nigerian army and Nigeria police? Where are they? People without shame, where are they? I'm asking you. Fulani, you want to change the narrative? Of course not.